Welcome to SVG TV News for April 15th, 2014. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The Central Water and Sewerage Authority, the CWSA, is appealing to Vincentians to adopt all the necessary conservation measures as 3 of its main water sources approach critical levels. Yesterday, in a media release, the CWSA stated that as a result of continuing lack of rainfall, the water supply from its intakes at Dalloway, Majorca and Montreal are getting low. In an interview with SVG TV News today, Public Relations Officer Joan Ryan says critical level means that the tanks are below half in terms of capacity, and it is important that Vincentians secure proper storage facilities as they never know what can happen.
Have those containers sanitized, start storing water. You never know what can happen when. Sometimes the system, there might be just a sudden drop in the water that goes into the system. So we're saying to you to ensure that you have proper storage facilities, have buckets in your houses, have drums, have your tanks, ensure that they're full, so that just in case this becomes even more severe, you are prepared. We are also appealing to institutions, schools, health institutions, to monitor if there are any leaks. You would have to contact BRACSA immediately so that those leaks can be repaired. And we have an excellent relationship with the general public. We want to thank the public for always calling into the CWSA and alerting us when there are leaks to our system. We are appealing again to the public to continue to do that.
Ryan noted that should the situation worsen, rationing of water may have to be implemented in order to ensure an equitable distribution of water from these systems.
We do not have a rationing currently per se, but what is happening is that the Jennings system is currently feeding some areas from the Montreal system, and that is something that would normally happen during a dry season because the Montreal system is the one that will be affected the fastest. So currently the Jennings system between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. is currently feeding some communities on the Montreal system. We are hoping that it doesn't get to be more critical, but if it does, we're going to have to feed some communities for a few hours. Some communities would have to be fed for a few hours as well.
And while the northern part of neighboring St. Lucia has gone into a state of water emergency due to a drought being experienced there, Ryan says the situation in SVG has not gotten that far.
You said only these 4 systems are affected currently. Water is still getting there. It's not as much as is normally supplied to those systems from the catchments, but all of our other systems are up and running. Fancy, Ovia, Sandy Bay, our Hermitage system, Layu systems, all of those other systems Perseverance are up and running as usual. So we're looking at these 4 systems because of the area in particular that they feed. But we are not yet at that level.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Camilo Gonçalves has lauded the 3 inter-American agencies here for the support given to this country following the 2013 trough system. Speaking at the opening ceremony of the 2nd annual exhibition highlighting the work on the agencies here, the Foreign Minister spoke highly about the contributions of the Organization of American States, the OAS, the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, and the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, IICA. Senator Gonçalves said most of the grant funding received for rehabilitative work following the December 2013 disaster came from states of the Americas.
2 weeks ago, the Parliament of St. Vincent and the Grenadines unanimously approved supplementary estimates of almost $84 million to help us begin the process of recovery and reconstruction in the wake of the Christmas flood, which did over $300 million of damage in St. Vincent. Of that $84 million approved for this year, over 1/4 comes in the form of grant funding from our global friends and allies. Further, despite the crucial importance of our far-flung friends and allies across the globe, the overwhelming majority of our grant support comes from states of the Americas, from Canada in the north to Chile in the south, and all points in between.
Gonsalves added that the agencies have not only given cash contributions, but have also provided assistance in other tangible ways.
In the aftermath of that day of calamitous flood, the various organizational arms of the Inter-American system were also generous and prompt. The OAS made a substantial cash donation, and PAHO provided important assistance in damage assessment, equipment repair, medical supplies, and psychological services. As the agricultural sector once again begins the journey of recovery from yet another disastrous climate event, ICA will play a pivotal role in equipping our farmers to succeed in this new era of increasingly volatile weather events.
Meanwhile, the Organization of American States, the OAS, has received much praise for its contribution to the educational development of Vincentians. Minister of Foreign Affairs Camila Gonsalves said close to 30 persons benefited last year from the OAS program.
In 2013, 16 Vincentian students enjoyed academic scholarship assistance from the OAS Scholarship Program and the Partnerships Program for Education and Training. These students, the majority of whom are still pursuing bachelor's or master's degrees at universities across the Americas, are a crucial component of this government's ongoing education revolution. An additional 13 Vincentians, that's in addition to the 16, received partial scholarships to attend or participate in various professional development courses, thereby bolstering state capacity and individual competence in a variety of areas.
Teachers across the country will journey to the Georgetown Secondary School tomorrow for the SVG Teachers Union 18th Biennial Convention. The event will be held under the theme, Quality Education, a Collaborative Approach. Nigel Scott, Deputy Director of the SVG Community College, will deliver the feature address. At tomorrow's event, the union will also recognize two of its stalwarts, Tyrone Burke, former president of the SVG-TU, and Camilla Smart for what they deem as valuable contributions to education in SVG and the advancement of the SVG-TU. The convention will also feature addresses from the SVG-TU President Oswald Robinson and Chief Education Officer Luan Gilchrist. A closed session in the afternoon will discuss the reports from the National Executive, the Treasurer, and Auditor's reports. The newly elected executive will be installed into office to serve the 2014-2016 biennium. Some Vincentians were among millions around the world to witness the rare celestial show as the Earth's shadow fell across the moon in the wee hours this morning. The moon began changing its color from orange to blood red in a total lunar eclipse from around 3 a.m. It went into a full eclipse for more than 75 minutes and shrouded in a red glow. Zuleika Lewis tells us more on this rare experience in this report.
If you missed the total lunar eclipse of the moon this morning, the good news is you may get another chance to experience it later this year. Many Vincentians joined millions of persons around the world to watch the first lunar eclipse of 2014, known as Blood Moon. The eclipse lit up the social media sites as persons posted photos and shared their experience. The BBC's science correspondent Jonathan Amos explains what causes this blood moon.
What happens is the moon is going behind the Earth. If you were to draw a line between the sun, the Earth, and the moon, and so the only light that's reaching the surface of the moon is that light which is filtered through the Earth's atmosphere and refracted, and then landing on the moon's surface. And so, depending on how much dust there is in the Earth's atmosphere, will determine what color, what hue arrives at the moon's surface. And so if we have a lot of volcanic eruptions, for example, that puts a lot of dust in the atmosphere, and it turns this lovely copper red. And sometimes it can look really quite deep, quite a deep red. On other occasions, it can just look like a sort of a murky pink. But we'll see how it unfolds and see what pictures arrive from different people, particularly in the Americas where it's best viewed. And it's one of those spectacles that is, you know, if you get a chance to see it, it's something that you can just gaze up and look at. Whereas, you know, with a total solar eclipse, which is where the moon is passing in front of the Earth as viewed against the sun, it can be quite dangerous to look at. But this is perfectly safe.
Monday night's eclipse is to be the first in a tetrad, a series of 4 total lunar eclipses separated by roughly 6 months each. The next one is expected to take place on October 8th, peaking at 6:54 a.m. or 3:54 a.m. The last 2 eclipses of the tetrad will take place on April 4th and September 28, 2015. For SVG TV News, I am Zulika Lewis.
The SVG Girl Guides Association will from tomorrow welcome 180 regional participants for a camp at Black Point, dubbed Euromay Splash 100, as part of the centenary celebrations of the association. A release from the SVG Girl Guides Association says the camp is under the theme Enter Alive, Celebrate and Thrive. International Commissioner Beverly Reddock highlights that Georgetown is the home of guiding in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that it is most fitting to have the camp at Black Point, a few meters from where guiding started at the Georgetown Methodist Church in 1914. The campers will be grouped into 6 sub-camps: Garifuna Memoirs of Hairuna, Jewels of the Caribbean, Pristine Waterfalls, Vincy Mass, and Gems. A number of local, regional and international delegates today wrapped up discussions on Phase 2 of the Juvenile Justice Reform Project. Minister of National Mobilization Frederick Stevenson says it is his hope that the conference allows for deep reflection and dialogue which will result in positive changes for the youth of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the wider region.
The agenda of this Phase 2 conference becomes the nucleus for which will determine the level of sustainability that this project will attract over time. It becomes an imperative for us to focus on strengthening the capacity in the homes through effective parenting programs, while putting the appropriate legislations in place to guide the rate of implementation and interventions of the reform process. Thus, the soon-to-be-passed Juvenile Justice Act will provide more guidance to the process. Once this reform process is implemented, our sector can be able to see improvements in victim support, youth rehabilitation, family reintegration, and behavior modification.
And project coordinator of the SVG Juvenile Justice Reform Project, Marissa Finch-Burke, provided an update on the progress made thus far since the launch of the Juvenile Justice Reform Project in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on August 8, 2012. Finch-Burke explains that they successfully completed the first Juvenile Justice Reform Project sports anti-crime campaign through the Street 20 cricket games in 16 communities.
We were able to go through 16 communities that were targeted based on the crime statistics of youth in those particular communities, and we exercised the game of Street 20 cricket with kinship teams or families, and the hope was to improve the family bonding process and to work with families where they would have been in conflict with the law, whether the child or the parent or the relative, and to create that process where the community comes out to support them and also the family increase their level of communication. We also hosted consultations on the development of a national strategy, of which June 2nd and 3rd will be the second phase of that, coming back to I think this said location where we'll be hosting a national consultation. We also executed the training of trainers workshops with 40 practitioners for positive reinforcement parenting programs for the 16 Now campaign, of which we launched 2 weeks ago, and the CFCC initiative, which is Connecting Families and Communities campaign initiative, and we also hosted the first pilot of that project in the Mesopotamia community.
The 50th anniversary of Lionism in SVG will be commemorated this year with a series of activities. Chair of the 50th Anniversary Committee, Lion Sylvia De Freitas, says the activities will be held under the theme A Rich Legacy of Humanitarian Services.
We also have a pin depicting this theme, which was done by Leo Sheddy Conliffe, and I guess in due course you would see that pin. Each club is challenged to do a signature project during this anniversary year, and this would involve both Lions and Leos. We would do it as separate clubs rather than one body. So we would come up with the activity and we would carry that out. In June, we hope to attend a church service to celebrate our anniversary and to get our continued blessings and strength from the Almighty God. A fun day for Lions family, friends and prospective Leos and Lions would take place in July at a picnic venue. This we know would be an exciting day. We're all looking forward to that.
Lion Sylvia noted that on the 25th of October, they will hold a photographic exhibition showcasing the growth of Lionism in SVG.
And that will be photographs of things that happened in Lionism over the last 50 years. Our anniversary magazine will be produced in the month of November, and this magazine would carry all the aspects of Lionism in St. Vincent and the Grenadines over the last 50 years. We would be approaching past Lions, relatives of deceased Lions, and friends of Lions, who may be able to give us items of information and photographs on Lionism from 1964 to present. To bring down the curtains, also in November, we would host our 50th anniversary dinner, which would include an award and recognition ceremony for past and present Lions.
Meantime, District Governor Lion Isaac, who officially declared the program of activities opened, congratulated the leaders of each club in SVG for what he terms as good leadership shown over the years.
Not all territories are able to produce Lions leaders at the highest level, and it is something that this island and the Grenadines should take particular note of. It is to be recognized because it is very important that persons who serve others move on to take leadership positions, because that is how the organization continues to survive. Not many persons are willing to offer themselves in that area of extended service. When you find somebody, particularly a lady, in a district that is prepared to give of herself even more by running the district and running the multiple districts, it is something that is very important and is to be treasured.